Miami Vice wasn't just a cop show, it was a neon-drenched revolution that rewired television forever. It fused crime drama with MTV's Pulse, swapped police procedural gray for electric pink, and made fashion as important as firearms. But behind the sleek cars and pastel blazers was a production dancing dangerously close to chaos. From fake Ferraris to real drug dealers on set. Today, we're pulling back the curtain to reveal 20 weird facts about Miami Vice. Stories of lawsuits, dangerous locations, and career-making moments. Stick around for the bonus fact, a twist that even die-hard fans rarely know. Let's dive in. The fake Ferrari that sparked a real lawsuit. In early episodes, Crockett's prized Ferrari Daytona Spider wasn't a Ferrari at all. It was a replica built on a Corvette chassis. To most viewers, it looked perfect. But Ferrari North America noticed, and they weren't amused. The company filed a trademark infringement lawsuit against the show's producers and the builder, Tom McBurney. Instead of a drawn-out court battle, Ferrari struck a deal. Destroy the replicas and receive 2 brand-new white Testarossas. This wasn't just a legal win for Ferrari, it was a marketing coup. Overnight, the Testarossa became a visual signature for the show, and millions of viewers associated Ferrari's sleekest model with Crockett's high-rolling undercover life. What began as a budget workaround became a defining piece of Miami Vice's image. Jan Hammer's theme was written in 2 hours. The Miami Vice theme is one of TV's most instantly recognizable pieces of music. Yet composer Jan Hammer created it in a mere 2 hours. Given early footage and told to try something, Hammer experimented with synthesizers, drum machines, and layered textures until he found the perfect fusion of tension and energy. NBC executives loved it immediately, and test audiences were hooked. When the show premiered, the theme wasn't just background, it was a brand. By 1985, it topped the Billboard Hot 100, won 2 Grammys, and became one of the rare TV themes to dominate radio airplay. What audiences didn't know was how little time it took to make history. Hammer's 2-hour sprint still echoes through pop culture, proving sometimes speed beats perfectionism. Real drug dealers as extras. Executive producer Michael Mann wanted Miami Vice to feel authentic, sometimes uncomfortably so. To capture the pulse of Miami's real underworld, the crew hired actual ex-cons, gang members, and low-level drug dealers as background extras. They played bar patrons, street hustlers, and bodyguards in nightclub scenes. It was a gamble. While these extras added grit no trained actor could fake, they also brought risk. Armed security and real police were on set during filming. A few extras were even arrested shortly after shooting, not for anything done on set, but for unrelated charges. Today, such casting would ignite controversy, but in the 1980s, it gave the show an unpredictable, dangerous energy that audiences could feel, even if they didn't know why. Filming in dangerous neighborhoods. Miami in the mid-1980s was in the grip of the cocaine wars, and Miami Vice didn't shy away from that reality. Instead of building safe studio sets, the crew filmed in real housing projects, abandoned warehouses, and crime-ridden streets. This choice added raw authenticity, but also danger. Crew members were robbed at gunpoint, equipment was stolen, and during one tense night shoot, a security guard fired a warning shot to scare off armed intruders. To protect cast and crew, production hired off-duty police and armed guards to patrol locations. Ironically, many of the places used for drug bust scenes were actual hotbeds of criminal activity. The line between fiction and reality blurred, and the danger was very real. Don Johnson was almost rejected. Today, Don Johnson is Sonny Crockett, but NBC initially didn't want him at all. Johnson had a reputation in the industry, not as a star, but as the guy whose pilots never got picked up. Producers courted actors like Jeff Bridges and Mel Gibson first, but they all passed. Johnson's audition impressed casting directors, but he was still overlooked until other choices fell through. Michael Mann pushed to bring him back, and NBC reluctantly agreed. Johnson brought a lived-in intensity that instantly clicked on screen. When Miami Vice premiered, his career transformed overnight. From near obscurity to global icon, Johnson's casting was a last-minute gamble that paid off spectacularly. The most expensive show on network TV. By its second season, Miami Vice wasn't just a hit, it was the most expensive show on American television. Each episode cost around $1.3 million in the mid-1980s, nearly double the budget of most primetime dramas. Why so much? Location shoots across Miami, designer wardrobes from Armani and Versace, licensed music at $10,000 per episode, real helicopters, speedboats, and Ferraris. Even Crockett's Rolex Day-Date watch carried an $11,000 price tag. This wasn't spending for vanity, it was about building a believable high-rolling undercover world. NBC willingly footed the bill because the return was massive. Huge ratings, magazine covers, and a brand identity that screamed cool. In a landscape of cheaply shot shows, Miami Vice set a new bar for style, one that was as costly as it was influential. Crockett's $11,000 Rolex wasn't just for show. A watch isn't just a prop when it's a Rolex Day-Date Presidential worth $11,000 in 1984. Crockett's wristwear was chosen to project wealth, status, and deep cover credibility. This model was worn by presidents, CEOs, and movie stars, and now, a fictional undercover cop. Costume designers knew that every detail mattered. Crockett had to look like he belonged in the same rooms as Miami's richest criminals. The watch's gold case and bold face became part of his visual signature. It was also a storytelling tool, reminding viewers of the blurred line between Crockett's real life and his undercover persona. In an era before luxury sponsorships dominated TV, spending that much on a single accessory was almost unheard of. But for Miami Vice, authenticity had a price tag, and it gleamed on Crockett's wrist. Philip Michael Thomas's accent was a complete act. Detective Ricardo Tubbs's tough New York accent sounded natural. So natural that many assumed actor Philip Michael Thomas was born in the Bronx. In truth, he was from Columbus, Ohio, and the accent was entirely fabricated. Thomas, a method-trained performer, spent weeks studying tapes, listening to street slang, and mimicking speech rhythms until his delivery was flawless. He stayed in character even off-camera during filming days, interviews, and public appearances. The result? Audiences believed Tubbs was a streetwise NYPD veteran dropped into Miami's neon-soaked chaos. The accent gave the character grit and authority, balancing Crockett's laid-back Southern vibe. It's a testament to Thomas's discipline that, decades later, fans still debate whether Tubbs's voice was real. On Miami Vice, style wasn't just in the clothes, it was in the very sound of a line of dialogue. The Ferrari swap changed the show's look forever. When Ferrari sent Miami Vice two real white Testarosas, it wasn't just settling a lawsuit, it was rebranding the show's visual identity. The sleek, futuristic lines of the Testarossa contrasted with the classic curves of the fake Daytona Spider, instantly making Crockett's ride a symbol of 80s excess. Producers leaned into it, featuring the car in high-speed chases, moody nighttime shots, and poster art. The white paint popped against Miami's pastel palette, becoming a moving piece of set design. In marketing terms, Ferrari got millions of dollars worth of free advertising, while Miami Vice gained another icon. That trade, two real cars in exchange for destroying the replicas, is now considered one of the most mutually beneficial deals between a car manufacturer and a TV show in history. Bruce Willis's first TV role happened here. Before Die Hard, before Moonlighting, Bruce Willis was just another struggling actor. His first credited television appearance came in Miami Vice's 1984 episode No Exit, where he played Tony Amato, an arms dealer with a violent streak. The role demanded menace, charm, and unpredictability, qualities Willis delivered in spades. He shared scenes with Don Johnson and held his own, a sign of the star power to come. The episode combined political tension with personal drama, and Willis's performance stood out even among the show's stylish visuals. Casting newcomers was a Miami Vice specialty. Julia Roberts, Liam Neeson, and Benicio del Toro all got early breaks here. But for Willis, this one, guest spot became a stepping stone to TV stardom and eventually Hollywood legend status. The show's music budget was off the charts. In 1984, most TV shows used stock music to save money. Miami Vice broke that rule with a massive $10,000 per episode music licensing budget, over $30,000 today. This let producers integrate songs from Phil Collins, Glenn Frey, and Tina Turner directly into scenes. Music wasn't filler, it was scripted into the action. Entire sequences played without dialogue, relying on visuals and lyrics to carry the story. Glenn Frey even guest starred after his track Smuggler's Blues was featured. Record sales spiked for artists who appeared, making the show a kingmaker in the music industry. The bold spending not only gave Miami Vice its signature emotional punch, but also inspired future series like The Sopranos and Breaking Bad to treat music as narrative gold. Pastels and no socks became a men's fashion revolution. Before Miami Vice, TV detectives wore dark suits, ties, and polished shoes. Sonny Crockett's pastel blazers, t-shirts, loafers, and bare ankles flipped that image upside down. Costume designers worked with high-end brands to curate looks that felt effortless yet deliberate, with colors matching the mood of each scene. The style exploded into mainstream fashion. Department stores couldn't keep pastel jackets in stock, and men across America started ditching socks with loafers. Even other TV shows and music videos copied the look. Crockett and Tubbs didn't just solve crimes. They redefined male style in the 1980s, and the ripple effect reached beyond fashion. The wardrobe became a storytelling tool, signaling character emotions and the blurred line between cop and criminal. Don Johnson's pop album surprised everyone. At the height of his Miami Vice fame, Don Johnson wasn't content with just acting. In 1986, he released Heartbeat, a pop rock album featuring collaborations with Ronnie Wood, Willie Nelson, and Stevie Ray Vaughan. The title track climbed to number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100 and went gold, selling over 500,000 copies. Johnson's raspy delivery and celebrity image sold records, even if critics were divided. The album's success was a rare feat for a TV actor, and it marked Johnson as a multi-platform star. His follow-up album in 1989 didn't fare as well, but Heartbeat remains a time capsule of the moment when Crockett's cool conquered both television and radio. It proved Miami Vice's cultural dominance extended far beyond the screen. Michael Mann's bold ban on earth tones. From day one, producer Michael Mann enforced a radical visual rule: no browns, no olives, no muddy grays, ever. The city, costumes, and props had to radiate pastel, neon, or white. If a filming location didn't match the palette, crews repainted buildings or used lighting gels to force the color scheme. This gave Miami Vice its music video sheen and made it instantly recognizable in a single frame. At night, the glow intensified, with turquoise streets and magenta skies created by careful lighting. Mann's restriction wasn't about aesthetics alone, it was about tone. The bright visuals contrasted the show's darker themes, making the violence and moral ambiguity more striking. The ban on earth tones became so iconic that film schools still cite Miami Vice as a case study in color storytelling. The leads didn't always get along. On screen, Crockett and Tubbs were inseparable. Off-screen, Don Johnson and Philip Michael Thomas had a rockier relationship. Reports from the set describe long stretches when the two barely spoke between takes. Clashing personalities, competition for screen time, and the pressure of maintaining a hit series fueled the tension. Crew members noticed entire filming days where all communication between the leads happened only through the script. Gossip columns picked up on the feud, adding another layer of intrigue for fans. In later years, both actors admitted the stress of fame and production schedules played a role, though they maintained professional respect. Ironically, the slight edge in their off-camera dynamic may have added to the realism of their partnership. Two men united by the job, not necessarily friendship. Go ahead and like and subscribe so you don't miss the final, most shocking facts, including the one that ended Miami Vice for good. Future stars got their break here. Miami Vice wasn't just a show, it was a launching pad. Liam Neeson, Julia Roberts, Benicio del Toro, Ving Rhames and Chris Rock all had early appearances before they were household names. Neeson played an Irishman entangled in Tubbs's personal life. Roberts appeared in a Crockett identity crisis storyline. Del Toro portrayed cartel affiliates in multiple episodes, while Rhames brought intensity as a guest character. Even Chris Rock made one of his first TV appearances here. Casting director Bonnie Timmerman had an eye for spotting raw talent and wasn't afraid to give unknowns a shot. For many, these brief roles became valuable stepping stones to blockbuster careers. Watching reruns today is like flipping through a scrapbook of future Hollywood royalty, all captured in pastel lighting before they took over the world. The pet alligator was real. Crockett's pet alligator Elvis wasn't a rubber prop or a camera trick. He was a real, live, trained alligator. In early episodes, viewers saw him lounging on Crockett's houseboat deck, adding an eccentric edge to the detective's character. Provided by a professional animal wrangler, Elvis still posed real danger. Cast and crew were required to keep a safe distance, and even Don Johnson admitted to being uneasy around him. Though Elvis was eventually phased out as the show evolved, his early appearances cemented Miami Vice's offbeat charm. Including a live alligator wasn't just for shock value, it symbolized Crockett's unpredictability and Miami's wild, untamed undercurrent. Few shows in history have dared to keep a predator on set just to make a character's world feel that much more unpredictable. The series was inspired by just 2 words. The seed for Miami Vice was planted when NBC president Brandon Tartikoff scribbled a memo that read only, "MTV Cops." Those 2 words sparked a revolution. The idea was to merge the style and rhythm of music videos, fast cuts, pop soundtracks, vibrant visuals, with the emotional grit of a cop drama. Producer Anthony Yerkovich expanded the concept, while Michael Mann turned it into a fully formed, hyper-stylized reality. The result wasn't just a TV show, it was a brand new visual language for prime time. MTV Cops wasn't a gimmick, it was the DNA of Miami Vice, influencing everything from camera moves to costume design. Decades later, those 2 words are still cited as one of the most effective pitches in television history. A video game tie-in flopped. In 1986, at the height of Miami Vice's popularity, Ocean Software released a tie-in computer game. The idea was ambitious. Let players patrol Miami as Crockett and Tubbs, driving sports cars, busting deals, and chasing criminals. But technology wasn't ready to capture the show's style. Reviews were harsh, citing clunky controls, dull gameplay, and uninspired graphics. Instead of adrenaline, players got frustration. The game quickly faded into obscurity, becoming a curious footnote in the show's history. Today, collectors seek out the original boxes as retro pop culture artifacts. While the TV series defined cool, its video game counterpart proved that not every element of a TV phenomenon translates to another medium, especially when you strip away the neon, music, and swagger that made the original unforgettable. The abrupt cancellation. After 5 seasons, Miami Vice ended in 1989, not with a grand finale, but an abrupt stop. Rising production costs and slipping ratings forced NBC's hand. The show had grown darker, more violent, and further from the neon glamour that drew audiences in. Attempts to retool the tone in the 5th season came too late. The final 2-part episode, Freefall, felt like a farewell, even though it wasn't marketed as one. Fans were left stunned. There was no closing curtain call, just a sudden absence from the schedule. The end marked not just the close of a series, but the fading of an era when television dared to be both wildly stylish and dangerously experimental. Bonus fact: during filming in certain high-crime neighborhoods, the blurred line between fiction and reality turned deadly serious. On one night shoot, a real drug gang mistook the production for an undercover police sting. Armed men approached, forcing security to draw weapons and fire a warning shot. No one was hurt, but the incident reinforced just how close Miami Vice played to the edge. The show's gritty authenticity wasn't just clever set design, it was sometimes life-threatening. In a strange way, this danger mirrored the show's themes. Undercover work is a high-stakes game, whether on the streets or on a film set. Miami Vice didn't just change television, it rewrote its rulebook. From a two-word pitch to fashion revolutions, real danger, and cultural shockwaves, the show proved style and substance could share the same frame. Even in reruns, the pastel glow still hides stories that are as bold, risky, and unforgettable as the series itself.